I want to talk to you about running strong together. And I say that because in my book, The Laws of Teamwork, I talk about the fact that one is too small of a number to achieve greatness. And it's an impossibility for one person to really achieve the level of greatness that they think they can achieve without other people. So when somebody comes up to me and they say to me, John, I'm a self-made man, or a self-made woman, I always look at them and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, because it's obvious if you're self-made, you're living way beneath your potential, and you haven't accomplished much. Because if you can achieve your dream, your most lofty goals of significance by yourself, you just really don't have a big dream. And, another law in the law of teamwork is the law of Mount Everest. And as the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork elevates. I mean, you don't climb Mount Everest by yourself. If you're going to get there, you got to have a team. It's just not going to happen. It's too big of a mountain. And what I tell people all the time is, if you're going to climb a hill, you can do that by yourself. But if you're going to climb something big, if you're going to do something big, you got to really have the help of other people. And where I really began to be committed to handing that baton off, running strong together, understanding that it's a relay race, it's not an individual 100-yard dash, was at 40. As many of you know, I did some inventory where I was, and I wasn't making the strides and the progress that I thought I should at middle-aged time. And I began to ask myself why, and I came to the conclusion after a couple of days that I just hadn't developed my team well. That's why when I ask people what I call the two most important business questions I can ask them, the first one is, what are you doing to develop yourself? And the second question is, what are you doing to develop others around you, your team? And running strong is all about the law of the inner circle. The people around me, they're going to determine the level of my success, not me running this race by myself. Running strong together is all about the law of Mount Everest. If I want to do something big, I've got to have a team with me. I've got to have some people that help me, that help pull me up and allow me to get to this level. So I started running the relay race at 40. I just basically understood that it had to be more than me. And so when I started running this relay race, I began to learn a lot about it. I learned a lot about running strong together. And I'm going to give you 5 relay race reminders, okay? And the reason I call them reminders is what I'm about to tell you, you already know. But I'm going to tell you because you need to really know it. And it needs just to kind of be impressed upon your mind again, because what Mark and I are going to do with you today is all about a relay race. And so here are the 5 relay race reminders. Number 1, one is too small of a number to achieve greatness. It just can't happen, won't happen, even shouldn't happen. So whatever you want to accomplish in your life, make it big enough to include others. And by the way, the greatest victory is not when you cross that finish line by yourself. The greatest victory is when you cross that finish line with others. I feel very badly for people who run single individual races, because when they get done, the only person they can hug is themselves. And I think, my gosh, I'd like to high five and hug my team and say, look what we did together. Relay race reminder number 2: your success is dependent on others. And I say my success is dependent on others. And in fact, in a relay race, when you think of a typical relay race, 4 people run, not 1 people. And so if one person is no longer running this race and it's 4 people, then we're going to have some values. We're going to have some trust. We're going to have to be on the same page as far as what we truly believe on and believe in. There's going to have to be some accountability where we can look at each other and say, I really count on you. I need you. In fact, the law of accountability is in the laws of teamwork. And what I loved it, when I wrote the 17 Laws of Teamwork, I submitted the law of accountability as one of the laws, and my publisher came back, as publishers will, and they said, you can't use that word accountability because it's not a word. And I looked at him and I said, I know that. Well, now they're really perplexed. Well, then why did you put it in if it's not a word? I said, let me ask you a question. How does a word become a word? You see, a word becomes a word because somebody says it ought to be a word. Because if somebody didn't say it ought to be a word, nobody would ever know it should be a word. So every word begins by somebody declaring it's a word before it's a word. I felt a little bit like God creating the heavens and earth. Let there be accountability. And accountability just means that I can count on you when it counts. And so we started that. So they said they don't know what to do with me, to be honest with you. But when you sell as many books as I do, they really can't say too much. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of say, okay, whatever you want. And so we got the law of accountability going, and now it's a word. Thank you very much. So I've written many books and created one word: accountability. But when you're running a relay race, you got to have people look at you and say, I can count on you. And by the way, I think maybe in that relay race, that may be the highest compliment you ever get from a team member. That I can count on you, I can depend on you. And what's exciting when Mark comes to join me in a minute is he passes with flying colors the law of accountability. I totally can count on him. Relay race reminder number 3 is that other people's success is dependent on you. Just like your success is dependent on others, it just flips. Other people's success is going to be dependent on you, and it's going to be dependent on me. So what that means is that if their success is going to be dependent on how well I run this race, I've got a great sense of responsibility to carry. I've got to pace correctly, because the person that is the mentor in a relationship, they have to set the pace not on how fast they can run. Have to set the pace on how fast the people you mentor can run. See, always remember this: the leader, the mentor, the person that is kind of the one that everybody else is trying to receive from. You have to always understand, leaders always slow down. If I want to run fast, I'm not running with anybody. Are you with me? I'm just going to go run. But the moment I say I'm in a relay race, now I've got to turn around and I've got to pace myself according to them. I've got to run mindful of the other 3 that are running with me. And I've got to be extremely accessible to them so that they could learn from me and come to me, and we can have this growing relationship together. Relay race reminder number 4 is that the goal is more important than the rule. And one of the things I want them to see very quickly is the big picture. The big picture is more than my section of running the race. In fact, let me tell you something. If I'm the second runner in a relay race, and let's say that when I come to hand off the baton, I was in first place, so ahead of the other ones. You never see the second runner in the relay race raise their hand and say, victory. Because the race isn't over. You follow me? You hand off that baton. You got to understand that you got to have all 4 of them to have victory, and that the goal of winning the race is more important than the fact that I'm the first runner, second runner, third runner, fourth runner. So I've got to always take my role and submit it to what the big picture is, what the goal is. And then number 5, individual talent gets you on the team. In other words, let's face it. You're not going to put in the relay race somebody that's slow. Are you with me? You say, well, they're not very fast, but I thought the company would do them some good. Yeah. There's other ways to give them company. You don't need to do kumbaya while you're racing. Are you with me? I'm not doing a friendship circle today, okay? Okay, so we're not got a little fire in the fireplace and a little Mr. Rogers music going on, okay? And I'm a little bit more than your neighbor. I'm trying to be your leader here. And so you say, well, I just thought they needed the confidence boost. Well, they'll lose confidence very quick, because if they're slow, they won't win. So you didn't help their confidence by giving them a shot. You hurt their confidence because you knew better. So you got to have some speed to get in the race. So when you're getting your team together, you got to have some talent. You got to have some giftedness there. You got to have some abilities there. But here's what I want you to understand. So your individual talent, it may get you in the race, but your teamwork will keep you in the game. So the whole issue is once we think you're good enough to be in the race, that doesn't mean that you're good enough for us to win with you. So, your speed maybe qualified you, but your ability to play good team ball and hand that baton off well and run together with other people and get in sync and pace with them, that's going to keep you on the team. So you're looking for the best, but you're not looking for the star who believes the race centers around him or her. Again, the great classic teaching is John Wooden, who he said the day that Sidney Wicks came on the UCLA team, I realized that everybody on the floor realized he was the best player on the team. I mean, he was the new kid on the block, but he was the best kid. But he said he was selfish, and it was all about him. And so he said, I just benched him all the time. I just kept him on the bench the first year almost because he was too selfish. He thought the other teammates were to make him look good. And he would come to Coach Wooden and he'd say, during the game, he'd get so pressured. He wanted to get in that game so bad. He'd come to Coach Wooden and say, Coach, put me in the game, put me in the game. He said, I'm the best player on the team. And Coach Wooden would look at him and say, yes, you are the best player on the team, but the team doesn't play best when you're on it. See, in this relay race stuff that we're talking about here, we're talking about it's every runner is giving up something for another runner. That it isn't your show. It's not about you and it's not about me. It is about us, and it's about the big picture.